Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. It begins in 2033 after the comet that struck Earth wiped out most of the population. A decade-long drought has seen most of the planet turn into a desert, so fresh water has become the most valuable commodity. The head of the evil water and power company Kesslee has taken control of the reservoirs beneath the sands and monopolized the supply. His loyal captain Derouche has gained control of 95%, but that isn't good enough for Kesslee, who must be the thirstiest man in existence. He forces the hard-working minion to march barefoot across broken glass just to be rewarded with a hug and cold-blooded murder. A device stuck in his back drains the captain's blood and purifies it into drinkable water, however it only makes a single cup, so it's pretty ineffective. Elsewhere in the Australian desert, Rebecca's out shopping on her accessorized water buffalo for a birthday present. She scavenges from the corpses left behind by a tribe of heavily armored mutants known only through stories as the Rippers. They raid the water company on a regular basis, leaving their outposts in ruins, then disappearing into the sands as they live underground. After taking a pair of boots, Rebecca returns to the renegade headquarters, where these freedom fighters rely on tapping into the reservoir to survive. Her boyfriend Richard pumps from one of the last free wells in the outback and is forced to strip at gunpoint, as foreplay's changed quite a bit over the years. When the sun goes down, it's Rebecca's turn to be on watch, where she takes her job very seriously, or so she claims. A young girl in the community named Sam has been carving a ripper after a voice coming from the peace told her to do it. She clearly has problems, but not as many as Rebecca, who gives the little girl a danger ball, which is sure to go over well. Knowing that Richard would have found his birthday present by now, Beck hears boots approaching and begins to strip, assuming it's her boyfriend. Turns out it's just some creep in a mask, as the headquarters are under attack by the power company, who begin slaughtering the resistance. Rebecca survives her encounter with the soldier by using a hefty dose of pocket sand, then pulls the pin on his grenade to blow him up. She then kills every agent surrounding the house with crack shots from the hip, while they miss everything they throw back at her. Unfortunately, with wealth comes helicopters disguised as vertical takeoff and landing jets filled with an infinite stream of more soldiers. Beck is forced to watch her boyfriend be killed and Sam captured before almost being executed herself when overwhelmed. The soldiers elect to kill her buffalo instead, before knocking her out and taking her back to headquarters to speak with the boss. On the journey, Beck insults a soldier wanting an oil change and gets kneed in the face, so Captain Creepy gets his neck broken in return. Upon arrival, it turns out that Kesslee just wants her to work for him as one of these goons, since she was able to take out 8 on her own. When she refuses to get a job, he throws her in the mines and subjects her to hard labor, hoping it'll break down her sarcastic attitude. Meanwhile, a fellow inmate called Jet Girl's the polar opposite of Becca and has a stalker named Sergeant Small who just won't let it go. Rebecca hears the introvert being harassed from the showers, so she pretends to be her jealous girlfriend to get the creep to piss off. On her first night, Becca tries escape by stealing a tank, but Jet Girl shows up to tell her that none of the vehicles are operational. She stutters, probably because of all of the being choked, and says to just give up trying to escape, as it'll make it a whole lot easier. Because of her disgust for Small's advances, he has Jet's hangar pass revoked, so she cries in the bathroom as it's all she had. Beck tries to convince her to escape during her moment of weakness, but Kesslee keeps dragging her away to be put through various punishments. Still refusing to join his organization even after being turned into a popsicle, they push Rebecca down a 100-foot pipe and seal her inside. It induces claustrophobia, and sometime later she's dragged out, still cracking jokes, so Kesslee's had enough. He goes to execute the big mouth, but decides to throw her into a ripper subgate like a minor canary instead, to test if the entrance is booby-trapped. She nervously walks towards it, but the plan backfires when the rippers appear without warning and begin slaughtering the soldiers. Jet Girl had been hiding on board the air support and ejects the pilot to hijack her very own namesake. When the ambush is over, Rebecca emerges from her hiding place as the only one left alive and finds herself the new owner of a working tank. She realizes that Jet isn't there to turn her into the company and wants to form an alliance, but Rebecca needs to learn how to operate this thing first. She rotates the turret right into Jet Girl's head, putting us into one of the many animated sequences that act as frantic transitions. They seek shelter at a water park, where the eccentric sub-girl catches them snooping around her things and is in possession of Sam's carvings. After being lightly bludgeoned with a plastic fish, sub-girl reveals that it was purchased from an unsavory nightclub called Liquid Silver. Since they can't just show up in the company vehicles, they spend a long segment modding the tank to blend in like a sore thumb. The jet's a little less obvious, and they travel to Liquid Silver, where Sam is made to work in the basement cleaning up crusty sheets. It turns out that Kesslee survived the ambush but lost his arm, while Small was completely unharmed because he simply ran away. Planning to get his revenge on Rebecca, he has a specialist in cybergenic reconstructive surgery build him a robotic arm. The doctor charges him 100,000 liters of water for the device, so the company begins recuperating their losses immediately. Meanwhile, the girls have a costume change to get inside the nightclub, where Sam is being harassed by some diddler named Ratface. She pretends to be helplessly defending her danger ball, then activates it when the rat attempts to steal it from her. Reconnecting with Becca and trying to escape, the madam catches them leaving, so Jet Girl takes her hostage. Under threat of scraping off her makeup, she gets made to sing Cole Porter's Let's Do It, and the whole crowd of perverts are forced to join in. The next 5 minutes turn into a large musical number as Rebecca performs the entire song on stage and draws unwanted attention to herself. She gets so distracted that the company soldiers break up the party and recapture Sam, which was the only reason these two are even here. She's held captive at the company headquarters, so needing help, Tank and Jet Girl wander the desert searching for the Ripper's underground hideout. They either get real lucky or these subgates are everywhere because the mutants take them beneath the sand and gas them unconscious. The two are kept sedated, and the Rippers turn out to be super soldiers created by the company mixing human and kangaroo DNA. They escaped when the project was deemed a failure with the help of their creator Johnny Prophet, but we never get to meet the rogue scientist. Their benevolent leader Deetee votes that they allow the girls to live, while T Saint's the opposite and votes that they just kill them instead. Because of the likes of Donner, who shows interest in Jet Girl, and Booger for Rebecca, the side of life wins and the pair are just held prisoner. Beck befriends Booger, who has the convoluted history of actually being a dog who became a man before he mutated into a kangaroo. That just means he gets treated a little worse by all the others, and DT gives the girls a chance to prove themselves with a little mission. They're given earpieces to communicate, while the Rippers can just use their ears, and the girls are sent out to try get confirmation that a company shipment contains weapons. Sending back all of the most important photos, they still need more proof, so the girls get even closer by going undercover. Disguising themselves as fashionistas doing a photo shoot for the company calendar, this guy's livid as he gets to be December. They receive actual photos of the weapons this time, but T Saint still thinks that it's a trap, so the girls must hijack the whole shipment instead. Rebecca does all the work in her tank as Jet Girl can't get her vehicle started, and it becomes a high-speed shootout with a few glizzies. She takes out all of the ill-trained soldiers on the outside of the truck with her wacky arsenal, then forces the cabin crew at turret point to jump out. With her finally in the air again, Jet Girl tells Beck about the upcoming cliff, so she detaches the cargo to save the weapons while the rest goes over the edge. Booger leaps in out of nowhere just in time to save her from going over, and they all return to the hideout, but don't intend to use the weapons. The Rippers say they plan to destroy them as they don't use guns, but before they do that they pray to Johnny Prophet for whatever reason. It involves them dancing around in a circle and grinding up on the girls, becoming apparent why Johnny added it to the religion. After praying, the Rippers realize the company tricked them, as most of these crates are empty apart from Johnny's dried up corpse. Enraged like losing a father, they plan on attacking the company, so they come up with an idea to get inside their headquarters. They paint the jet back to its original design and fly the Rippers inside, while Beck takes the less subtle approach to draw the attention away. She parasails down Main Street, taking out all of the defenses before detaching from the wire and gliding inside the front gates. Somehow the tank remains on autopilot outside while she regroups with the team to try find a way to Kesslee's office. They're suddenly ambushed by a dozen guards, so Dee sacrifices himself, drawing their fire and destroying the generator in the process. He's shot dead with the last line that he'll see everybody at a big jam in the sky, as Johnny's religion has some pretty weird lore. With the Rippers angrier than ever in the factory under cover of darkness, they easily hop all over the soldiers while Beck goes searching for Sam. She needs to get past cyborg Kesslee first, who's put the girl in one of the pipes with water slowly rising like a true villain would. Rebecca just kicks him off the catwalk onto the floor below, but he's a bit harder to kill than she expects, as his head is just a hologram. She spends the entire fight trying to avoid the arm and wondering where the hell the brain's located, but loses in the end. Just before he lands the finishing blow, the tank comes barreling through the front gate, launching rockets and allowing Beck to knock Kesslee onto an electrified rail. Unfortunately, it runs out of ammo, so she jumps on board and loads the cannon with beer cans that she rapid fires at him. One hits a conveniently placed bucket of water, electrocuting him more, and Beck turns what remains of the walking torso into a nice fresh cup. Jet Girl's gone from the shy mechanic at the beginning to an assertive rebel who catches Small trying to escape. She gladly puts a bullet in the creep's head while Beck locates and drags the submerged Sam out of the tube before she drowns. The few soldiers who remain serve Booger now for whatever reason, and Rebecca lays a big old kiss on the kangaroo Dogman thing. The final animated scene shows water flowing freely while Tank Girl goes over a waterfall with the Ripper in tow. And the movie ends.